Hi friends, so this is your friend Arun from Live in Germany channel. So today I'm back again with another interesting video that will make our lives much easier. We all would have started our lives here in Germany as a tenant at some point of time, whether we came here as a student or directly for a job or with family reunion visa or whatever purpose. We will always be shifting houses, and getting caution deposit back is always a problem when especially we are shifting between different cities. We will not have enough time to do a lot of stuff, and this sometimes leads to loss of security deposit. It creates a problem both for the landlord as well as for the tenant. If you have had this experience before or you want to avoid this problem in future, please do watch this video till the end about what I'm going to talk about, and share this with at least 4 to 5 people so that in future if you come across such an issue, you will know, okay, at some point Arun spoke something on this. And of course, subscribe to our channel. And let's now go on to the content. Hi again guys, so now let's go on to the content. So now I'll talk about the Wohnungsübergabe Protocol. So this protocol, okay, this sounds a little bit too German, so I'll say it in English. Handover Protocol. This can happen at starting of when you're moving inside an apartment as well as moving out of the apartment. It's good to do it both the times. Most of the house owners will be happy to do this because it saves a lot of effort at end when someone is leaving the house. It's just they don't tell it deliberately because it requires effort to make the documentation part. So I'll tell you in this video what are the things that has to be in the content, and of course I'll put a template which I found on internet which is very simple guys. You can use it. There's a link in the description, and also what kind of information you have to show, how can you make this as an evidence, and what kind of later, say for example when a problem arises, what kind of insurance can help you out also at the end. So now let's go. So like I said, it's a handover protocol which has several information. So to start with, what is the time and duration when we have to do? So this is very critical. So before moving in, you have to do, so that can happen, you know, like on the day when you're moving in or before it, which is pretty good. If you do it pretty earlier, it's much easier because then you will know what all you have to do in order to come inside the house, what cost you have to bear, and it makes easier for you to decide. If you're moving out of the house, this is when we normally care about the security deposit. So in this case, for example, it is good to do it a few weeks before the end date. So based on the contract, you have to give them the keys on the last day of the contract. And if it falls on a Sunday, maybe the next day, if it's a public day, a public holiday the next day, that's a different story. But do it before a few weeks from the last day, so you know that everything has been smooth, what are the defects, how you can fix it, and also what cost it will come, so that you can get the caution deposit back on time. So I think I already mentioned that house owner has at least 6 months of time to give back your caution deposit. If this protocol is done, in most cases you'll get it within a month's time because they know all the cost has been handled, and most of them will give it back because they know this can be used as an evidence against them if there is nothing to claim. So that's point. So duration, so you like I said, the period, so at least take 1 hour of to take this protocol, even maybe longer if it's a bigger house, and do it when there is still natural light in your home. So whether when moving in or moving out, both cases do it in the same time. I mean during when there is natural light. It is easier to identify certain things when there is natural light. If it's going late in the evening, you will just try to finish it off quick, and this can lead to problems later for you. So it's a lot of money, take your time to do it. So this is point number 1. So next I'll tell you what are the different things which comes under this protocol. So first thing, for example, your meter readings. Yeah. So when you're moving into the house, make sure you make a note of what is the readings for heating, water, electricity, or whatever utility which you're going to pay. And also the same thing you do when you're coming out of the apartment, so you know what kind of utility bill you have to bear when you leave the apartment. If you're paying yourself, it's fine. Still, it is good to do that. Make photographs of this because we all have digital cameras now on phone. So this will be a valid proof and easy for you. And make sure you note down that the picture shows the number of the meter as well as what is the reading on the meter. So this is point number 1. Next comes the keys. So keys is also a key parameter. So note down how many keys you have when you move inside the house, and when you leave the house, you have to return them and ensure that in this particular protocol, this data has been entered as a notice. And if you make extra keys, you can return it to your house owner, but the house owner has no obligation to pay you for that. If you don't want to give it back to him, you can just broke it and throw it out. But otherwise, whatever number of keys he has given you, you have to return back to him. If something is lost, of course, you can replace it and pay. So that's what you should know regarding the keys. So other things like, say for example, the floor, the tiles, for example, bathroom, for example. So all these you have to ensure, okay, what kind of defect is already there. I will tell you why, because there can be a previous tenant, it is not a new house, and they can have left some marks, yeah. And if you didn't notice this and written it down somewhere, maybe the house owner also didn't see it, and after a few years, say 2 or 3 years, he vacating the place, and then he sees a huge hole on the floor and says, okay, this is due to you. But you said no, it was already there, but there is no evidence for this. So it's good to do this. Same thing goes with tiles in the bathroom. If something is broken or drilled holes, washing machine outlets, so these kind of information has to be documented. So also expect that the restrooms will be provided without any scalings on the tiles. For example, water here forms these white scales. So make sure that is removed when you leave the house, and also make sure when you move into a new house that you receive it without that, because it could incur a lot of cost for you. So ensure you do this in both these cases. Next comes the kitchen and also the balcony and the terrace. So kitchen, especially if it has a kitchen, kitchen setting already, and you have not done anything, just ensure it is all made clean. There is no food scrubs or anything lying around or something like that. Also, like, try to clean up the thing that the chimney, for example, yeah, the right word. So and then make sure it is all clean how they expect it. The same thing goes for balcony and terraces. Doors, make it clean. Electric switches, make sure it is not broken and everything is documented. And if you're entering the house, use the same thing. You go in the same order and check if there is anything broken. Make a note of it. The reason behind is the next one, the furnitures. Yeah, furnitures. If you're taking a mobiliate house, make sure you have an inventory list attached. So all the furnitures used available can be documented. As a landlord, it creates safety for you. As a tenant, also it creates safety for you, because you know, okay, I was given this amount of furnitures, I'm giving this many of furnitures back to him. Most importantly, when a previous tenant has not yet moved these objects, when they are moving the objects out of the home, like their own furnitures, they could leave scratches. So it's always recommended to ensure that the previous tenant stuff is out when you're visiting. If it is still there and you're doing this protocol, you have to mention that exclusively when this, because it might be hiding somewhere below the carpet. So you have to ensure that you have not looked at it, and this detail is very important. So I think I have covered most of them. There are a few we have, like say car parking, gardens. You have to give back the garden the way you received it. Like if it has a lawn, you have to give it in the same way like how it was given to you. So that's very important. So these are all the very major things you have to note it down. So enough with the list. So what information you have to note down when moving out and moving out? Have to know what are the defects, who is responsible for the defects, who will bear the cost of these defects. So if it is some kind of cosmetic fixing, for example, like Schoonheidsreparatur, they call it, and you have to do it, you have to ensure that it is done professionally, for example, as per law, and you have to provide in a quality with a medium quality, or if it was a newly renovated house, you have to give them back in a quality which they're given you. It's a huge ocean. I will go in detail later when this video receives a lot of views and comments, of course. So these are all the information you have to formulate it under each notices, like in the formula which is flashing on the screen. Okay, and all this I done when moving in, moving out. Now, okay, sometimes the house owner doesn't sign the contract or the tenant doesn't sign. What do I do? Still, it's an evidence. Yes, it is still an evidence. How do you do it? If you have a lawyer already with you, which is not very normal case, you can send them these documents. So you have an email showing that what was the status of the house with pictures, sketches, documents. So they have it. Or if you have some kind of legal insurance, say either from the provider which we do like Arag, you can also make a documentation with them saying that this was the case when I moved in and moved out. they could also help you to claim back the caution when the problem arises, and this evidence will be very, very essential and useful for them. So this is point number 2. Point number 3 is you can also hire some kind of house verwalter. Like these people are property management companies. It depends like the price and everything on your city. You can search, for examples, Wohnungsabnahme or a Wohnungsannahme. I mean, I'll just write the words. So with your city name and see if this kind of service is available. So they also make documentation checks and tell you, okay, this is the damage, this is what you can do and what you cannot do. If you're not able to be there personally yourself, you can give a power of attorney and do this. So these are, if you maintain all this process, I know this is a bit long video guys, please bear. So if you maintain all this process, you can ensure that you can get back your security deposit back in full without any issue. If there are any defects which happen and it has been mutually understood with the landlord, still you can get a reduced amount based on the things. But in my personal opinion, I will recommend you to take care of these repairs, hire somebody in your vicinity to do this, use these bills and claim it in the taxes. If you're following my videos, you already know like where to claim them and what cost these are. So this is what I would recommend from my side, guys. I hope this was a very informative video, might be new for some, and use the template given in the link. It's from a website called formeet.de, and see you in the next video. And I think in the next weeks, I will be assigning some sessions on this topic from our insurance provider. If you're interested, please do write in the comment section or join our groups for a general discussion. Thank you and bye-bye.